Whenever I do one of these videos, I have to explain what SFWA is because they have relegated themselves to irrelevancy. And I hope I don't take too long on this, but I'm going to try. SFWA is the Science Fiction Writers of America. They're like the Screen Actors Guild, but for sci-fi writers, in theory. What they do, though, is actually provide nothing to their membership. People pay dues into this organization. It's a couple $100s a year. SFWA takes it. They do things like spend $100,000 prosecuting an online forum owner on behalf of Patrick S. Tomlinson because they said mean things about him on that forum. It's absolutely crazy what happens in this organization. They have people in there who are defending pedophilia. They have someone who actually was a member of NAMBLA, which is the North American Man-Boy Love Association. It's just a sick, sad group of people who are not professionals, who don't make money in science fiction. And it's been a slow descent where they've actually tried to cull the people who are making money and who are actually doing good work in science fiction and tried to just push these people who are mentally ill, who can't actually do much production, who are really functionally useless for their organization and society for years and years. And it's continuing now. What I've got is actually a members-only email debating what they're going to do for their next steps in order to keep SFWA going because it's falling apart. It's been on a decline for years. They've lost all of their prestige. They've lost a lot of their membership that actually was worthwhile and useful for selling books and things like that. And that's where we're at. Hi, my name is John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling author, an award-winning comic creator. I'm the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, which everybody agrees with. And I have a new book on Indiegogo right now. It's called A High School Girl in the Crusades. It is at $46.93 as we speak. We had a big day yesterday. If we get to 5,000, this book by itself qualifies for SFWA under the current laws. Now, if they change them, it already qualifies. But I'd like to get to 5,000 just because a lot of people in SFWA will never get to $5,000 in their entire career. So if you want to support the channel and what we're doing, get a fun book with no degeneracy, this is it for you. It's a lot of fun. If you like manga, you're going to love this. The link is in the description below. All right. So we've got a new SFWA winter business meeting that came up this week. Important news from the winter business meeting. And they have been pushing because the organization really does nothing for its members. It's got a private forum. They had a private Slack chat, which I was actually in last night because they had no security. And they don't really do much other than any other Facebook online amateur writers group where they talk about their critique groups, which is people critiquing their writing. They talk about, how come I can't get sales and things like that. And then they bitch about Donald Trump. And that's about all they do in their, quote, business Slack chat. It's a totally worthless organization run by totally worthless people. The current president, Hefe Kennedy or whatever her name is, actually doesn't sell more than like 30 copies of her books, and she's the president of this organization. She doesn't even write science fiction. It's absurd. It's a parody of itself at this juncture. They claim they had record high attendance at their last Saturday's business meeting, and there's a recording of it, which I can get to. And of course, I just want SFWA to know, no matter how you try to harass me, no matter what you do to me, I've got spies who see everything, send me everything. You cannot keep your hidden agendas and all that crap private. You should be out in the open and stop with the nonsense. But, oh well. We'll get to that in a second. They're proposing to change their bylaws. Now, right now, you have to make $5,000 on a single book, which is a very difficult task. However, that is the mark of a professional. If you cannot make $5,000 on your writing, you are not a professional. You are an amateur. You are doing this as a hobby, obviously. The other requirement they have is to have 3 short story sales for 8 cents a word or more. Now, you can do either or. You can get that 5,000, you can do that short story sales. But they want to make it easier for members because they're not able to get the members that they used to. They're not able to have people who actually make money in writing show up and actually want to be a part of their group. So they're trying to bring it to amateurs who are aspiring writers who are really never going to make it. in order to bolster their numbers. Now, with that 8 cents a word in 3 short stories, you get a lot of amateurs as it is, because that really is, again, not going to make you much money. These people generally make around $1,500 by doing that, maybe a little less. That's all they got. It's go out and get a steak as a hobby money. It's not your career money. These are not professionals as much as they pretend to be all the time. The former president, Kat Rambo, I found actually sold only 12 copies of her Tabat novel while she was president of SFWA. I mean, this is how crazy it is at this point. This is how little clout that they actually have. Now, this is a big deal because this changed to where they have $100 earned professionally for an associate member, and a full membership is $1,000 earned professionally, is now up for debate. That means in your entire career, you could go 20, 30, 40 years. If you earned that total of $1,000, you are now considered a professional in the industry. It's absurd because, you can put out something and make $20 on it 50 times, and then suddenly you're a professional. That's not how it works in real life. That nobody ever considers that a professional amount of money. Nobody's ever going to be able to make a living off of that sort of thing. But that's the kind of thing that they want to do. They want to make it so the writers can't make livings off of things. They want to bitch and complain. They want to say that it's terrible out there in the market, but they're not serving the market. What these people are doing is pushing LGBTQ agendas. They're pushing their crazy, extreme left-wing politics everywhere, and that's why they can't sell. Nobody wants to read that. Nobody has fun in science fiction when somebody's lecturing them on how evil they are because they're white. It's retarded. All right, here it is. So they're removing that. They have a list of markets which they say qualify. They're changing that from the qualifications to be the short fiction matrix, which is, again, just trying to dilute what they're doing for their membership requirements so they can get more people in there. It's a pretty obvious thing what's going on. We see that somebody like Hefe Kennedy is not a professional in the field, and so she's trying to invite more non-professionals in the field to keep their positions of clout, keep their positions of power in this little fiefdom. It's a little club, like a book club. It's a hobby club. This is not a professional organization any longer. Nobody takes it seriously any longer. Their awards are a joke because they just give it to minorities as a sort of golf clap sort of thing to themselves, as white women for the most part, who want to sit there and say, okay, look, we did something for minorities. They actually put up a thing a couple years ago saying that if you're black and can't afford SFWA, which if you're a professional, why wouldn't you be able to afford a couple $100? Then you get in for free. So that was not offered to other races. That was a racist move in order to, again, give themselves golf claps for being saviors for minorities. This is what they do all the time. But the truth is they hate minorities. They hate everybody. They hate everybody successful. I'm a successful Hispanic author myself, of course, and they've done everything in their power in order to harm my career, in order to keep me from doing well within the industry, and in order to keep me from their organization. In late 2017, they actually went into an online forum called the Codex Writers, most of these SFWA people, and organized a harassment campaign against me in order to mass report me to this WorldCon organization so that they would ban me. Now, WorldCon actually took them seriously. They went with it. They libeled me a racist bully on their website, when these are racist people themselves, not me. And when they did so, they had to lose in court and apologize to me. Now, SFWA didn't have to do that. SFWA could have just been nice to me. Kat Rambo didn't have to go out there when she was president of SFWA and start attacking my blog, calling me names, when I had never had a negative interaction with her in my life. All these people come after me and harass people like me because they don't want me to have a voice. They don't want me to have an opinion that's contrary to theirs. They are anti-diversity, anti-ideas, anti-science, and anti-science fiction writer at the end of the day. I'm not the only person this has happened to, but when I applied to SFWA, I've made over $300,000 in my writing career so far. When I applied, this is what they told me. SFWA Bylaws Section 6(1)(c) gives discretion membership credentials committee regardless of qualifications. Now remember, they can invite anybody they want regardless of qualifications. Even though they have this for most people, if they want to throw their friends in there, they can do that. If they want to throw people out who do qualify, they can do that. Even though they are a 501c3 nonprofit, they can make this a political club, their little book club. It's not, again, a professional guild like they pretend it to be, just based on whatever the heck they feel like that day. They said, based on online statements and your behavior this past year, whatever that means, the Membership Credentials Committee believes it has good and sufficient reason to deny your membership in order to keep SFWA virtual and physical spaces harassment-free, and has done so. Like I said, I've had evidence that they harassed me when I had no idea who any of these people were. I had no idea why they even knew who I was. It was a very bizarre situation. But they're totally allowed to do that. They encourage that if you are a minority with the wrong opinions. This is who these people are. So they said, threatening to film people without their consent at private SFWA functions. I never did that, and that's a total lie. Soliciting people on social media, including Facebook, Gab, and Twitter, in order to troll and harass other professional authors, including SFWA members and board officers. I just said, hey guys, let's troll some SJWs, but that's on them if they want to identify as that. I let them identify how they choose. I'm diverse like that. All right. And accusing SFWA of doxing your children, supporting pedophiles, racism, among other attacks. Well, their authors have done that to me, except for the pedophilia part and the children part. They did harass my children. What happened was, in 2017, somebody sent an anonymous package to my house with pornographic images on it that actually exploded as it was in my face. Now, that package could have been opened by my children. It was labeled to my house. My children could have been there to see that. They did actually harass my children. On top of that, when I was fighting the good fight against what these people were doing, they actually posted medical records of my children to my blog, to Twitter, in order to scare me from talking and speaking out. These people did this. It came from Cat Rambo and people who were following her, and nobody ever apologized to me. It was terrible. One of the worst things that's ever happened. Next, supporting pedophiles. Again, Cat Rambo, when confronted with Moira Graylin's actual account of Marion Zimmer Bradley harassing her, and why SFWA has Marion Zimmer Bradley listed as like this icon on their website, as president, said that it was a pointless thing, that we shouldn't be talking about it, that it's old news, and that she was going to completely ignore it. To me, that's supporting pedophilia, and that's exactly what SFWA was doing. That they gave a Lifetime Achievement Award to a member of NAMBLA further confirms that. They need to knock that shit off, and they need to not support that. They need to come out unequivocally with statements against pedophilia because they've been too close to it. It's obvious. I think anybody would do that in their position, and anybody in my circles who even gets close to pedophilia is not going to be allowed in my circles, period. I'm anti that. It's not that hard, SFWA. Racism, of course, because I'm Hispanic and they harass me, there seems to be a reason for that. And it seems to be because of my race and because I'm speaking out politically in ways they don't like. It's pretty obvious. And other attacks. Now, I did this in response to them. All the things they listed here is because they harassed me. They went after me first. They tried to destroy me and my career just because of my support for certain candidates politically that they didn't like. It's a very terrible thing that these people did, and they honestly should be apologizing to me at this point. So, I don't know. I just report. You decide. I'm trying to just make sure people are aware of this organization and the evil that they do, and I hope that you will check it out, pay attention, and, not support these people. Next, SFWA, I know you watch this. Hefe Kennedy, don't be afraid to talk to people with different ideas. Don't automatically go into your little Slack chats and groups and mass report people on Twitter like you were doing. You need to have a real commitment to diversity if you're going to keep talking about that BS. Just talk. Act like an adult. If you all acted like adults instead of spoiled children, you wouldn't be in these situations where your club was falling apart like this. That's all I got to say. I always try to be helpful. All right, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.